Okay, everybody. I think we're pretty much ready to go. So let's see. Leadership power supplements the strengths of your human capital synergies. Hello, everybody. This is Bill Thomas, and welcome to this episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. I am your host and presenter for today's episode. I'm going to restart this. So if you would please bear with me. Um, well, before I do that, I can't do that. Okay, now let me do that again. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get my chat going again. Um, and I have to apologize to all of those who joined us and got dropped along with myself. All right, good. I've got that going. Well, I think we're pretty much ready. Let me go back to my slideshow presentation. And okay, let me go back to my slideshow presentation. And we can begin da capo from the beginning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. This is Bill Thomas, your host and presenter for today's episode, and we will take the next 14 or so minutes to explain how your leadership powers the workings of social energy, transformational influence, systems of synergies, and human capital strengths to produce purposeful, meaningful, and bountiful results in your organization. So let us start right away. In this song, we see David confirm and receive the confidence, consistency, and capability that he needs to lead and succeed through the energizing favor, blessings, and compassionate care which Almighty God preserves for the people of God. Notice how God strengthens and shields his people through God's everlasting provision of protection, encouragement, faithful commitment, guidance, support, empowerment, a force for special treatment, safety, security, respect, and caring concern, assurance, governance, aid, help, and loving welfare towards the people of God. Leaders can do what PepsiCo had to do to turn around its stagnant performance because, quote, several key competitors had already established a footprint in PepsiCo's platform areas, end quote. So to help the management team at PepsiCo respond to and effectively overcome those challenges, as Nanette Burns of Business Week magazine puts it, um, PepsiCo decided to employ the power of two at Pepsi, and that the new leadership team made its plan to transform itself and, quote, keep the snack and beverage empire growing, end quote, through service and product line innovations, focusing on its strengths and investing in its best and biggest opportunities. What are the actual strength areas of your human capital? In the upper left quadrant, you see the attributes, which we could call human abilities. In the lower left list of resources are the human strengths. Those capital assets on the upper right are the human insights, and the lower right are the human impacts on the world. So now, how can leaders synergize, source, and supplement the awesome energy-based potentials of their radical change, transformational, or innovation growth programs? Before we can discuss this idea called leadership power, we had better quickly review what energy is. We now know that our understanding of the biological processes occurring within an organism or an ecological niche depends on our acceptance of the fact that these biological processes are organized around information. It is those information sources, absorptions, and exchanges which form and sustain the biological or life giving, life sustaining, and life regenerating forces which we find at work in all socially based activities, which are those actions which involve or occur between two or more people, society's ecological niches, which are a sector or an area of a greater environment, and our social ecosystems, which tend to be self contained units within one part of a larger environment. What are the primary elements of leadership power? It is anything which is centered around, involved with, or influenced by these three attributes. And how do you become more powerful? It happens when you augment, extend, empower, develop, improve upon, or add more to any of those three elements. In short, these three elements represent areas of your actual power as a professional, personal, or as a leader. All three are in your possession at this very moment, and yet all three can be greatly expanded, extended, and improved through education, coaching, and mentoring, and even meditation. In my experiences of working with all types of leaders, I have found that most leaders invest very little time, attention, or money into their own development and strengthening of their power elements. How about you? When it comes to investing your resources into building up your power, are you the same as most leaders? There are important reasons for using the power of your leadership abilities, strengths, talents, and insights. Every leader will need to involve her or himself in making inroads and opening up pathways to discover new solutions and more opportunities for overcoming or dealing with your challenges. You will want to robustly and continuously produce improvements, and you should devote your time and attention to shaping new innovations, practical inventions, and conducting investigations on the actual boundaries of your frontiers. Uh-oh, here we go again. Um, okay. Uh, well, if you're okay, great, wonderful, terrific. Let me go back. Okay, great. Um, there are important reasons for using the power of your leadership abilities, strengths, and talents. Oh, sorry about that. Physical scientists call the phenomena of syntropy the importation of information in an organized and orderly fashion. Wise leaders realize that their keys to success depend upon being thoughtful, relying on sharpening their cognitive abilities, and constructing centropic systems to help them order their imported streams of information. Most people know something about synergy. Effective leaders use collaboration, coaching, education, and consultation to improve and empower the performances of people. Every communicative, cognitive, and collaborative act must be as significant as possible. The mark of professionally competent leaders is revealed in this single important fact. Their actions tend to be highly significant, artistically creative, and functionally entrepreneurial. Leaders who become strategically successful understand how supplementing their social system synergies means communicating the value of their vision, the meaning of their work products for customers, and for their employees who are doing the work. These leaders are always giving and building trust among their stakeholders while being trustworthy themselves, and they eagerly delegate their own power and authority to all their employees. Game changing leaders know that these are the types of leadership actions which pay off and produce massively profitable transformations in the intellect and spirit and development and growth of every active contributor in their organization. In their Transformation Begins with a Capital T article, authors Michael Busey, Stephen Hall, and Doug Yokola of McKinsey and Company describe their approach to successfully implementing a transformational turnaround and organizational culture in this way. Quote, "Nothing about our approach to transformations is especially novel or complex. It is not a formula reserved for the most able people and companies, but we know from experience that it works only for the most willing. Our key insight is that to achieve a transformational improvement, companies need to raise their ambitions, develop different skills, challenge existing mindsets, and commit fully to execution. Doing all this can produce extraordinary and sustainable results." End quote. Leaders could also use these three key behaviors suggested by Joe Folkman of Zenger Folkman as a source of synergetic power of their social system for their own leadership toolkit. To sustain the energies of your newly developed strengths, the McKinsey consultants recommend that leaders, quote, "try to bottle the lessons of the transformation as it moves along and to ingrain within the organization a repeatable process to deliver better and better results long after it formally ends," end quote. I believe that when your leadership strategies are disciplined applications of your abilities, when they empower you to give and take direction both during your experiments and what happens to you, and when you continuously evaluate and diagnose every shortfall in your performances, you will begin to experience more promising and positive changes in the game being played. Employee engagement is a power generating activity, and because leaders always employ their power in the appropriate context, you need to ask yourself if you want to achieve an ideal, support someone, or create something. Your vision requires the substance of plans and maps and models, stakeholder or system developments, and all your calls to action demand a purposeful, meaningful, and bountiful set of outcomes. So, in their April 2016 article entitled "The Four Building Blocks of Change," McKinsey consultants Tessa Basford and Bill Shanager report that, quote, find that transformations stand the best chance of success when they focus on four key actions to change mindsets and behavior, fostering understanding and conviction, reinforcing changes through formal mechanisms, developing talent and skills, and role modeling, end quote. In a word, your structural supply system of transformational influence is simply the model you use to deal with, overcome, and exploit the potential of your leadership challenges. It should be no surprise to leaders that their power uses and applies the energies of socially driven information for the purposes of helping their stakeholders to achieve ideal goals, support their growth and development, and enhance and enrich their creations. However, what we discussed in today's episode was using those information based energies of your leadership power to source, supply, and supplement the synergies that your social system requires for its continued growth, transformation, and prosperity. This ends today's lesson. And what you're looking at right now is the catalog of materials, training, and coaching support, which are featured in my Leadership Power Paradigms Producer Tools program. You can see that this program is designed to dramatically improve your leadership performances and use your leadership strengths to comprehensively empower the achievements of your people. Right now, this program is available to you at my lowest possible price, so I urge you to visit the webpage that you see right in the middle of the slide here, which is www.one-iam.com/LPP-tools. That's www.one-iam.com/LPP-tools, or simply click on the Enroll and Get Started Now button that you see on the right side of your screen if you're in the webinar room. And when you click on that Enroll and Get Started Now button on the right side of your screen, what will happen is it will open up a new browser window for you, so you won't lose your place in the webinar here. And if you like what you read on that page, just go ahead and get going now, because you shouldn't forget that there's always my famous no questions asked, no risk to you, money back guarantee for this program. So you really have nothing to lose by enrolling now in this awesome educational experience. And while you're clicking on the Enroll and Get Started Now button, I'm going to run back over to my control panel, and that way I can send you the 2 bonus gifts that I have for you today. And let me, oops, oh boy, okay, wow, a little sluggish today here. Okay, yes, like I said, I have 2 bonus gifts for you. Oh, no. uh, oh, whoa, I don't think I'm broadcasting. Oh, let me just make sure that I am. No, I am, according to this. So, let me send this off to you here, because this is definitely live. Okay, you guys, the 2 bonus gifts that I have for you today are first, the 5 Leadership Uplifter Tasks infographic. It is a 1-page PDF document, and all you need to do is to download it and print it out. And like I say, it fits on 1 sheet of paper, and it is a PDF document, so that's not a problem. And put that document on your desk, or on a wall where you can refer to it as you go through your day and perform your other leadership tasks. And just ask yourself, hey, is this one of those 5 leadership uplifter tasks on the infographic? And if it is, the chances are that your leadership action will be highly effective and you'll see a good performance on it. And if it isn't one of those 5, then the likelihood is that you may not be as effective as you could be as a leader. Okay, and the second bonus gift that I have for you today is the Words with Wisdom 8-page PDF paper. Okay, it's 8 pages long, and you can download that and read it either on your computing device, or you can print that out as well. A lot of people like to print it out. That way they can write in their own thoughts and notes and ideas about what is there. And what is in that paper are the principles and strategies and techniques and processes that we covered in both this episode of Leadership Power Paradigm, as well as previous episodes of Leadership Power Paradigm, so it's a great resource for you. And use it as often as you possibly can. And most people tend to read it read it through a few times. It's only 8 pages, so it's not a hot and heavy tome or some sort. Anyway, so those are my two bonus gifts for thanking you for attending the live and the replay recordings of this particular episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. Now, for those of you who are on the replay recording of this episode, why I also encourage you can click on the enroll and get started now link, and that's not a problem. And if you don't see it, or for some reason I'm not sure what's going to happen and stuff, like I say, when you click on that button, it will open up a new web browser tab or web browser window, so you won't lose your place here. And secondly, you also have the ability to send me a question or a comment about anything to do with leadership or management, whether I covered it in today's episode or not. That's immaterial. Just type in your question, use the question box that you see on the right side of your screen there. Type in your question and click on the email us or email now button. And when you do that, my system will say, oh, I know who sent that question, because it's got your name and your email address from your registration to join the replay recording. And everybody's got to give their name and their email address anyway to register for the recording in the webinar room. So all you need to do is to type in your question or your comment concerning leadership, and I promise I will respond to you. I'll give you as full an answer as I possibly can. Many times I even will send you links to other papers and resources that I have or other people have to help you to understand whatever you had a question about or a comment about. Okay, so anyway, thanking all of you for joining us today in today's episode of Leadership Power Paradigms. I am Bill Thomas, and I was your host and presenter for this episode. I thank you so much for joining us. God bless each and every one of you. Godspeed to you all, and I wish you all the very best of success in all of your leadership endeavors. Take care.